Hello everybody, good to see all you guys. So this video is an update video, basically summarizing my recent time in South Africa. As opposed to doing newsletters anymore, I'm going to transition over to doing video vlogs like this. So in South Africa there, it was me and my team of 15 that I was leading, and I'll walk you guys through each of the locations that I took my team all across South Africa, and just kind of let you in on the ministry that we were doing, what God was doing, and what kind of things we saw and what kind of things we did. At the end of this video, there'll be a little bit of a teaser as to what's coming next. I'm going to be going back into the field, and so I'll let you guys in on a little bit of that, and then there'll be a follow-up video after this one as well. Other than that, just please enjoy the video, and look forward to hearing from some of you guys. So the first place we were was this place called Potchefstroom. This is where we were mainly based while we were on our outreach. We got to be a part of many ministries while we were here, including a rehabilitation center, but mostly the most fruitful ministry we were a part of was the Red Light District, and you'll see that here in this part of the video, where we actually went out and ministered to prostitutes on the street, but we also got to go into the colleges and see all those people as well. Next, we have Didikong. This is a tribal village up near Botswana. It's super remote, super dry, super dusty. It's really in the bush. While we were here, we were just living in tents, just in the middle of nowhere, and our only goal was to evangelize to as many people as possible. And so we hopped in our vans, we drove out into the bush off-roading, we reached the unreached, we got to see people who didn't even know Jesus before, and actually got to accept him the same day that they heard about him, which was an amazing thing to be able to be a part of. In this area, it's heavy witchcraft, they worship their ancestors. It's a really spiritually heavy environment. So it was really awesome that we were able to show up and be a part of what the teams have been doing here for years, and be able to pour into this community in that way. All in all, Didikong was by far probably my most favorite place I've ever been in my life. Incredibly fruitful. We got to see people be lit on fire for Jesus. We got to see people decide to start living for him, worshiping him, and there is a revival sparking up in this incredibly remote village just in the middle of Africa, and I cannot wait to go back, hopefully one day, and see what it's like there now. So all in all, we were only in Didikong for about 5 days before we had to head home. But then we took a long 12-hour car ride to our next location, Paarl, which is known as the Pearl of South Africa because they say it's one of the most beautiful places, and it for sure is. So while we were here, we focused on our youth movement part of our outreach, where we try and find the ones that are burning for Jesus and inspire them and motivate them to become the evangelists after we leave, and we definitely did that. So we had multiple different approaches to doing that. The first way that we started was with our really young kids. So there's a lot of really young kids that come from, not such good backgrounds. A lot of them are orphans. A lot of them live in extreme poverty. But when they come to our programs that we run, we're able to play games with them, perform some skits, give them food, and just love on them in the ways that they, haven't really received. And so that's always a really nice thing to be able to be a part of. But the main reason we were here was for a little bit of the older youth, so like college kids and late high schoolers and stuff like that. Because these guys we know have a passion for Jesus, and even if they don't, it's our job to reach them, to show them that, hey, this is something worth doing, this is something worth giving your life to, and worth accepting and worth living for. And so we did run a mini DTS while we were there, where we offered the same curriculum that we teach during DTS within that 3-month time in 3 days. And so it's a bit of a thing to take on. It's a little difficult to teach and to do, but we had each of our team members take part of that curriculum and teach it for themselves. So that was really awesome, I think, for our students to be able to be a part of, and it was really awesome to be able to touch the youth in that way. We also did a RTC ministry where we go out with young guys and girls and we just work out, and we champion them as brothers and sisters in Christ and really encourage them in that way. Paarl was an amazing place. There's certainly a lot of different opportunities for ministry there, and a lot that God is doing in that community. It was super cool. So next up, we went all the way down to Cape Town, which was just about an hour ride, where we continued our youth movement. So while we were here, we did more children's programs, more youth programs, and got to just also evangelize to some of the slums outside of Cape Town. Cape Town is by far one of the most touristy places in South Africa and one of the wealthiest, but you also wouldn't believe how many people are still struggling with poverty and with really difficult ways of living here as well. So we got to reach out to that community, go outside of the city and inside the city as well, to minister just during doing evangelism. We spent a whole day cleaning up a beach. We went into the slums and we evangelized throughout villages and stuff like that. It was super nice. But we also got to have a little bit of fun while we were here, because we were only here just for, I believe it was 5 days. So we took our team out to Seal Island. We went and did dune buggies in the dunes. We went up to the highest mountain in South Africa, known as Table Mountain. And then we also just got to enjoy a little bit of the city life. And I'll just let you listen to what that was like. It's lit, bro. That's so cool, bro. Right, and the second to last location we went was East London. And let me tell you, East London is awesome. I absolutely loved it there. It doesn't quite beat Didakong, but it was still really awesome. So this is where we spent the majority of our time, which was only 2 weeks. But it was the longest location that we were in. While we were here, we did the most that we did on outreach. So the main thing that we did was village evangelism. There's a small town there called Cambridge, on the side of a cliff. And so we spent our entire time basically just evangelizing within Cambridge. But we also did get to tour a lot of churches, and do a lot of teaching while we were here. So there was a lot of times where people on our team, especially me, would go up into these churches as guests and be able to give a sermon, be able to give a message, and pour out into their community. So it was super fun to be able to do that. We also had a lot of deliverance in this place. It was kind of unprecedented how much we saw. A lot of people were suffering with being bound to demonic spirits and strongholds and stuff like that. So we encountered that quite a bit, and also had a lot of miracles. We actually did a feeding program the one day for some orphans that were there, where we had 45 sandwiches, and we said we're not going to have enough sandwiches, and we were actually able to feed 100 kids twice with 45 sandwiches, because God multiplied all that. I still almost can't even believe that happened. It was quite amazing. But East London was absolutely amazing. Our whole team agrees that this was, I think, our favorite location aside from Didakong. But God is really doing something in East London. The final location that we went to was Johannesburg, which is the capital city of South Africa. It's the richest city in all of Africa as well. Our main goal here, we did a little bit of youth movement stuff, but our main goal here was just simply intercession. It was right during the elections for South Africa, and so it was a super hot time in the country. There was a lot of unrest, a lot of people that were angry, and a lot of just kind of confusion within the nation. And so we felt this was a good way to close out our outreach by thanking God for what he did, and just saying our final prayers over the entire nation of South Africa. So we had our debrief here, and then it was time to pack up and go back to Kona. So yeah, it's kind of hard to condense everything that happened to us in 3 months in the span of 10 minutes. But the exciting news is I'm going back. And so I hope this video kind of lets you in, seeing a little bit of what it's like for me and my ministry and what I do. But I'm going to make a follow-up video really explaining in depth what I am doing, what I have been doing, and how you guys can get involved in supporting me. I'll be posting the video directly with this one as well, so you can go ahead and watch that directly after. But other than that, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you to my supporters who have donated to me and supported me with prayer and finances through all this time. You really did a big part to impact what it is me and my team got to do all across South Africa. So thank you so much, and I look forward to hearing from some of you guys later. Bye.